Hi guys, Debbie here. Thanks for joining me for part 8 of putting our junk journals together. We've done a lot. Our journals are starting to look quite bulky and quite interesting. So I thought today we would start putting our dangles on. We're going to add another string to the middle hole so that we can have an equal dangling. Otherwise we've just got 2 on the side and 2 on the left, 2 on the right. And we want to fill the hole in the middle. So we are going to tie some string for the dangles, the 2 hanging down here. As well, we're going to tie another one that's going to come through the book, and we are going to tie our dangles on. So I would like you to go to your package number 1 if you're working from a kit. If you're not working from a kit, then that's just fine. All you need is buttons and beads and charms and whatever it is that you would like to put on the dangles at the back, okay, as well as one little dangle to put on the bookmark, or you don't have to put a bookmark on. That's totally up to you. I did go through my costume jewelry, and I found some treasures. I found an old necklace. I found, this was another old necklace that's got some little is that amethyst? Little amethyst stones. So I've cut some off because I have a lot of purple going on in my book, and I think I might just add some on my dangles as well. I decided to change my dangle, and I'm going to do something quite substantial like that. That's going to be my bookmark. So I'm going to tie that onto my bookmark, and I'm just going to snip that like that and get this off. There we go. So I have a little dangle over there, and I have some other dangles in here that I will add to the strings as we go. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. So I hope you found some of your old costume jewelry that you can put to use as well, and some old buttons along with the buttons that are in your kit. Okie dokie. So if you could go and get your piece of hemp, and it would look like that, or just a piece of hemp, or whatever it is that you have bound your book with. So I am going to just open this up, and we are going to do the dangle here first. Okie dokie. This is for the dangle, so just get them even. Let me just put the ends together. It's going to be way longer than you need it, but that's just fine. You're going to turn your book, and you are going to thread it through the middle. Let's get the ends together. Maybe I was a little bit premature in saying getting the ends together. So get your ends together, and we're literally going to tie a knot exactly like we did the first time round. So however it is that you learn to tie a knot, I do under over. So 1, and I'm going to do it twice. There we go, and twice, and 1 for luck. I'm going to do 1 for luck. There we go, like that. There we go. So your book now has 3. The 3 holes are filled. We're still going to do another one there for the dangles coming down, but this one is going to be our bookmark. So I'm just going to pull these strings together like that, lay our book flat, open our book, and I'm just going to lay it down the middle over here, which is fine. And I want my bookmark to be hanging out. There's the bottom of my book, so I want my bookmark to be hanging out approximately there, so that when I pick up my book and I've marked my page where I'm working at, I'll know where I'm at, so because I can see the dangle hanging out the bottom. So that's the purpose of that, and besides, it's decorative and it looks pretty. So oops, let's close that. Okie dokie. So what we have to do is get the dangle on. Now first thing I like to do is get to the bottom of your book and mark it, so just beyond the bottom, and then I'm going to do a knot. So just, I don't know what this knot's called, sorry guys, but you hold the 2 together, pull it through like that. I never went to Girl Guides, so I don't know these names. There we go. So I have that. So just make sure that your strings are even. Okay, so that's that. I have it like that. Now I am going to Now I am going to thread. I want one bead on first, and then I'm going to put my dangle on. So whatever you like to do, I just like to have, I'm going to cut that little chain. Yeah, I hope that cuts. Yikes, I might have to get another cutter. 1 second, please. You go through your beads and decide what it is that you like. I am going to get that cutter there. And I'm going to just cut these beads here because these are the ones I want to use. So I am going to use one purple bead, and then I'm going to put my dangle on. And I've already checked the hole on this bead, and it's big enough to take 2 threads. So whatever bead you decide to use, just make sure that it's big enough that it can thread the 2 of them in. If it isn't, and you have some beads that you like, well, you can put 1 bead there, 1 bead there, and do a couple down, and then join them, and then put your dangle on, or just put your dangle on. It really doesn't matter. Just fiddle around before you tie knots and cut and that kind of jazz, and you'll get to see how you like it. So I am just going to thread those 2 together like that. Then I am going to tie another knot, and I'm going to try and make it as close to the bead as I possibly can. So just take it around, whatever this knot's called. There we go. And then I'm going to maneuver it towards the bead. There you go. And that's good enough. That's good enough, because I just don't want my bead to be hanging all over the show. I don't want it to slide up, and I don't want it to slide down. Now I am just going to thread both of these through. Now you may have a better way of doing it, but this is just the way I'm going to do it. All you jewelry makers out there, if anybody's a jewelry maker, you might look at this and say, I wouldn't have done it like that, but honestly, that's the way I'm doing it. Now I'm going to do another knot. So I'm going to, and hemp, when hemp is pulled tight, it's really pulled tight. So you don't have to worry about anything coming loose, believe me. Where does that's going to go up in there. So this is another one of those knots. Through like that, yep, like that. And now I want this knot to be right up abutting the other one. There we go. Tight. Well, it's down a little bit. That's okay. That's fine with me. That's fine with me, like that. And now I'm going to just take it one more time around and pull that through. It's very rustic looking, the hemp and the stones. And actually my journal, the way my journal's turning out, it is very rustic. Okay, I just pull these tight. Tight, tight, tight. I pull on them individually, and that gets them really tight. That, like that. And then I will put a little glue on there. So I'm going to snip that. Like that. And I'm going to put a little glue on there, and that will ensure that it doesn't go anywhere. So a little glue. There we go. Oops, sorry about that. I'm just going to have to open it up like that. And I'm going to, actually I'm going to just use that. So if you could just get a little glue on the end like that, and that will dry clear, and it's not going to go anywhere, believe me. And I will wipe that off. I'm just going to squeeze it, and there's my little dangle, and that's about as interesting as I want mine to be. As I say, my journal is very rustic, so that's how I've decided to make mine. You can put more jewels on yours. You can thread some more beads up. You can put some sparkly beads on. You can tie some charms on. Whatever you like to do. Okay, I'm going to put that back on like that. Okay, let's go around. I'm going to leave that dangling down there. So now you see you have your little dangle that's hanging out the book, and I think that looks kind of cute. Okie dokie. So let's go back to where we were. I'm going to get another piece of string, and you will have string in your kit. I just didn't do one here, or if I did, I've mislaid it somewhere. So I want my string to be as long as these are, approximately. So there, and I'm just going to double that over, and I'm going to snip this. Snip that, and we're going to go back to the spine. And I'm going to run this next to that, to the one we've just put in there. And I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to do some knots, 3 knots, because that's what I do. So I'm going to do 1 knot. I hope I'm on camera, sorry. 1 knot and another knot. There we go. And just 1 more, because I feel that one for luck, and it's not going to come undone. It's not going to come undone anyway, honestly. If you didn't do 3 and you've done 2, they're definitely not going to come undone. So now you see we've got equal amounts here. So now we are going to start putting some beads and some buttons on. Really easy to do, and there's no hard and fast rule. It's totally up to you. Eyeball it as you go, and you decide what it is that you like. I'm just going to pull my buttons down here. Okay, so this is what I have. I've got my buttons over here. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm going to tip a little bit more in there. Pretty random, pretty random. I'm not too fussy because I just want them to dangle. I have a couple of small ones, and there you go. Another couple more small ones like that. There we go. And perhaps just a couple of more purpley ones. Okie dokie. All right, so what I'm going to do, I am just going to start threading them on, but in here I also have some little charms. And these little charms are, I want them somewhere on here. They're either going to dangle on the end of 3 of them, or I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 in amongst my buttons. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I think I'm going to start with a button. So we are literally going to start here. So I'm going to start in one hole, as you do all buttons, and out the other. But you might find that's why I make them extra long, so that you can do lots of snipping, because the hemp heart, cheapers, I have hemp hearts for breakfast every morning. So anyway, I'm just going to thread that on like that. Like that. Hope I'm on camera. There we go. And you don't want it too close to the top. Like not too close, just below the hole. So that's about fine. That's fine, and you can stagger them. So I'm going to get those guys out of the way because I'm just working on one. So there we go. We've got one, and then I think I'm going to let's go for a little sparkle here. I'm going to put one sparkly bead on, if I can get the hemp heart through. There we go. And when I put a sparkly bead or a rounded bead on, I usually do a little knot. So I'm going to do a little knot. And these are not neck to neck, so they don't have to. It's not like a necklace. You're not going to be, it doesn't matter if there's gaps in between, like that. I really don't mind that at all. Now I'm going to go for another button. I think I'll probably just, let's see, we'll do a little purple one. And just pick them randomly, just like we made those clusters. Don't put too much thought into it. Honestly, don't. It all comes together. There, I'll put that in there. Like that. Okay. And you can just thread it through and place the button where it is that you want it. So I'm just going to slide that up a little. There you go. That works fine for me like that. Now I think I might do... this is a little button that you have to thread through the back. So this one will slide up and down. So I'm going to do a knot. I'm just going to take it through the back like that. And some can be closer together, some can be further apart. It really doesn't matter, because when they're all dangling back there, when you're done, it looks really sweet. So there you go, there's that. And I'm going to maybe we'll do a white one. It's kind of a creamy white. Like that, and like that. In one hole, out the other. And it doesn't really matter which hole you choose. I'm going to slide this one down a little bit because there's that little button that's just there. So slide them down. So now I do not want my buttons hanging lower than here. So I don't want them to be hiding this button. So I'm going to end it right there. And I'm going to do a knot. So just do a little knot at the back of the button. In. And pull a knot. Just pull it like that. Oopsie daisy. It strangled itself around that button. Pull it around like that. And pull it like that, and I'm going to do a double knot. I'm going to do that one more time. Pull that down a little. Okay, and I'm going to do it one more time so that it's secure. So just around. There we go. And there we go. So just like that. So I'm going to leave these strings, just leave it like that as it is. I might come back and put a charm on this one. I'm not exactly sure. So I'll just keep threading the other one. So I'm going to go to another one. Keep those at the back, and I'm going to come over here. So now I'm going to keep that there so I know what I've done, because I don't want two charms, two beads right next to each other. So I'm just going to, I think I'm going to start with the red this time. It's like a dark red, like that. And then go into there, and we're going to pretty much do the same. We're going to keep working our way down. There we go. That looks great. And I'm going to do a wee purple one. There we go. Sometimes if you just hold it in place like that, just hold your finger like that and poke it in the next hole. There we go. There we go. And that's good placement for me. There we go. Let's see how we do here. There you go. I might, let's see, let's do a little wooden one. Like that. Oh, I'm starting to, my edges are starting to freeze, so I'm going to have to snip. Yep. I'm going to have to snip. Sorry. Snip it. And let's get going in there. Okay, in the hole like that. And in the hole like that. Okay. So you get the picture. So that's what we're going to do. So if you have decided to use, perhaps there's some jewelry that you have that you've decided that you would like to cut up, like I have. So I'm gonna add one of these beads, and this obviously is going to need a knot. There you go, like that. And now I'm going to do a knot over here. I might have to do two because that hole is actually quite big. It's a little tricky, just a little tricky, sorry. Like that. There we go. Yeah, definitely going to have to do two. There's just no way. That, and I have to do another one. So guys, I am going to do a little bit more here. I'm going to tie a charm on just so that you can see how we get the charm on. And then I'm going to pause the camera. I don't think I can pause the camera. I think I have to turn it off, and we'll continue on another video. So, yep, that's fine like that. So now I am going to, is that going to go anywhere? No, that's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to pull this little button down. There we go. That's it. Like that. And that's not going anywhere. And now I think I'm going to tie one of my little charms on. And it's a little rose. I'm going to thread that through. And I'm just literally going to do a knot again. So let's do a knot. Pull it up close to the other knot. Ha ha ha. Little fiddly, but be patient, and honestly, it all comes together. Just have to be a little patient. There we go. If you have big fingers like me, it's a little bit difficult. If you've got nice, delicate little hands, it'll probably be a lot easier for you, but I just don't. I just don't. Like that. Okay. And let's get that over the knot, and I'm going to tie that tight like that, and I'm going to leave that dangling. So there we have it. So here we have two so far that are on there. Now I am going to turn the camera off, guys, and continue doing this so that we don't bore you to absolute tears. And I know it's painful to watch me trying to do these knots. So you keep going with yours, thread them on. If you don't like that button, if you don't like the button you put on, just take it off and thread another bead on, or whatever it is. Just eyeball it and see what it is you like to do. So I am going to turn this off, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you, and thank you for bearing with me. Hi guys, Debbie here. Welcome back to the continuation of part 8 of putting our beads and buttons onto our spine. So I went ahead off camera and threaded the rest of them. I've got the buttons and beads and a couple of little charms. You can see I've tied one in the middle over there, and a couple of the other ones I had 3 charms in all, so I put the ones on the bottom end there and ones on the bottom end over there. I went ahead and trimmed my string. I literally just held it all together like that and pulled it down like you would trim your kids' bangs, and I snipped it like that. That didn't look too straight, but I actually did. Anyway, so I like that length, and I'm going to leave it at that length. You might like them longer, but that's just the way I like them. So I've trimmed them like that. So here we have beads and buttons on our spine. We also did our dangle, our bookmark dangle. So that is that hanging over there, and I hope yours is on and looking beautiful. And now we are going to add the button to the front pocket. If your kit came with 2 strange strings hanging on the front, and then you're going to go to your package number 3, and there is a button, and there should be a couple of charms as well. So what we're going to do is thread the button. You might have one at the back, so you may have 2 buttons. I'm not exactly sure. Some didn't come with these. They have something else someplace else. So but you know what to do with them. So I am going to just tie a knot. That's what I'm doing. I'm tying the button on as opposed to sewing it on. There we go, and I'm just tying a knot once and twice. There we go, once and twice. There we go, like that. Now my button is in place, exactly where I want it to be, and I am just going to tie a little charm over there, and one possibly a little bit longer over there. So literally I am going to thread my hemp through. I think I'm going to have one say there, and then I'll have the other one just a little bit longer. So I am going to tie this one. Actually, I'm going to bring this one down a little bit longer and have the smaller one up there. So I'm going to have this one down there. The other leaf is a little bit smaller, so I'm not sure whatever charms you're using, or perhaps you found something in your jewelry that you would prefer to replace it with. So whatever you want to do there. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to do a double knot here. Yeah, just pull it tight like that. There's my one little charm, and then I will snip that and add a little dab of glue, and it will never go anywhere. So there's one, and then this one I'm going to thread, and I'm going to hang it just a little higher than this one. Okay, I'm going to hang that one round about here. It's just a little shorter than the other one, so that they're not hanging together. Okay, and I'm just going to do the over-under knot. That, and one more, just one more. Through like that. Okie dokie. Like that. And like that. Perfect, perfect. I'm just going to grab my scissors. And I'm going to snip that like that. And snip it like that. And I'll put a little dab of glue. I'm going to put my little dab of glue on off camera because I'm fearing that my bottle is going to be stuck again and I won't be able to open it. So I'm literally just going to put a tiny little dab there and a tiny little dab there, and it dries clear. So there we have it. We have our little dangles. And I'm just going to slip that. I put a little card in there, not thinking about my button, but that's fine. It's not something you're going to write on. It just has a little message on it. Impossible is just an opinion. So that's our button on there. Now let's move on to making cards. We are going to be making cards for our tuck spots inside the book. So I am going to meet you on the next video. This is just a very short one. I needed to do my buttons off camera, and now we have just tied our button onto our front. If you have one on the back, I didn't put one on the back of mine, then go ahead. You'll see there's 2 strings and you probably have another button and more charms. So go ahead and do that. And we will see you on the next video where we're going to make a bunch of cards like this. So there'll be journaling opportunity on the back, and we will be going through our book and filling up all the little tuck spots in the pockets with some decorative cards, and we're going to decorate them. So see you soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.